Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and I'm returning to the Artisan of Glimmith. I know I've been streaming this a lot lately, but I'm kind of under some medical direction to do some stuff that's a bit more relaxing. And that's how I've been finding this game. While I've been finding the challenges on this one very, very different to any puzzles that I've really done before, I've been enjoying learning the way that it works, and that's been really rewarding to me. Now, those of you who were watching my stream last night would have noticed that I did say that I would have thought that Cracking the Cryptic would immediately start doing this, and they did. They did a stream of this morning, and they're much faster at this than I am. But as soon as their stream ended, I started getting a lot of bot comments. I'm pretty certain they were bot comments on my streams of these that got blocked by YouTube, and I started getting reports on that one. So something weird started happening to my streams. Hopefully this one will not get interrupted or attacked the way that the previous ones were. So we'll have to see how that goes. Interestingly enough, they're able to comment without hitting views. So the view counts weren't going up, but I was getting a lot of comments and really weird behavior on them. It's not the first time this has happened, but we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I am doing okay, Keith. I'm currently on a bit of medical leave, but I should be okay. But anyway, let's go on to the one where I've got 116 solved puzzles. I just focus on being good. So I was moving in this area. I had left these 6s, the 4 and the 7 behind. I'll come back to those later. Let's move through this area. So this is a 1 difficulty puzzle. All regions must have an area of exactly 4. So that's a 4, and that must be that. So I can sort of block this off. Now this must come out. It makes me feel that this must lock off here. But this must come out. This must come out. Now, if this goes up, I could do a 4 region here. Well, this is a different region to this. So if this came over here, this would be a 4. But if this went up, I could do... What? Hang on, how does this not have 2 solutions? I mean, this makes sense as a 4, so this doesn't overlap. And then this to be a 4. Hang on. This isn't a 4. Right. This must come out. This, and if it comes down, these are locked off. So it must do that. And then if it comes down here, it's blocked. So that must be a 4. And then this must come out. And then it must go down. Because if it doesn't go down, this is blocked off. Then it must come up. And it must come up again because it can't touch this. And then that's a 4 and that comes up. Okay. And I can't continue in that direction because that's blocked off. Weird. But there's a 3 here. Have a region of exactly 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 3 regions in here. There are 3 regions in here. So what's the right way to start this? Like this must be a different color. And this has to come out. It kind of makes me feel it's got to do that. And then that. But then this is a different color again, which is a problem because then they don't hit 18. So that's not it. So what's the logical way of starting this? Here's the problem I have. This has to come out somehow. I think these might have to be 2 different colors. No, that's going to be more of a problem. Because if this is 2 different colors, this has to come out this way, this has to come out this way, and this can't get to 18. So that doesn't work. So this is all 1 color. and must come out. Or actually, I think this may have to do that. So this can come out. But this has the chance of getting to 18. Because otherwise, like I saw before, I have a problem. Hey, Izamuk. But now this has to come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this could continue out. But now I've got a problem here. Yeah, this is wrong. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, this could come down here, allowing me to do another color here, which I want to be like purple, but that doesn't work either. Okay. I don't understand the logic on this one. This is where I see my problem. I feel that those have to be the same. Because if they're not the same, if these are different, then this gets blocked off and this gets blocked off and this gets blocked in. You're allowed to, Izamuk. I have no problem with that. So blue comes out in one direction and purple comes out in the other. Can I prove which is which? Because this has to be either, well, one of this, either this or this is blue or purple. I might be able to do it by doing something like that, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then purple could come out that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that doesn't work. This... Yeah, I'm really confused on this one. And it's this cell that's doing it. I'm sure these must be the same. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, there's 2 regions. Sorry, I'd miscounted right at the start. I thought there were 3 regions. There's only 2. There's only 2 regions. Right, that's going to make this a little easier. I've been trying to fit in a 3rd region. So this becomes blue. So this becomes green. Blue has to come out one end. But now these must be blue. Well, does that mean I could do blue like that, green like that? No, that's not right. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This must be blue. And this must be green. So this must be green. This must be blue. So this must link up. And blue can't come up here now. So blue has to come this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, if green comes through and links up, this has to be green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I need 2 more green and 1 more blue. All of the regions have a size of exactly 3. Have an area of exactly 3. How many different ways are there drawing 3? You can draw 3 that way. You can draw 3 that way. How else can you draw 3? That's it. And I can't draw a 3 straight in here. So this has to be a 3. So this has to be a 3 straight and this has to be a 3 straight. Because of the delta. Now this has to be a 3 bendy. At least, because if I do a 3 any other way in here, I'm going to block stuff in. Now this has to come out and this has to come out. If this is straight, actually, this is the same. This is a bendy. Oh. And this has to be a straight now, which has to go that way. So this is a straight going that way. This has to fill that. This has to be a bendy now. And it has to go that, otherwise I'm not going to fill it. This is a straight. This is a straight. This is a straight, and that's a bendy. Okay. Depicts the shape of its region. Now, it's indicated kind of by, oh no, you can have multiples in the same. You see here that it's in, that you could have the same. So this could be a 4 going that way. Yeah, this is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. This is part of a 2 by 2. Well, this is now part of a 2 by 2. So this is part of a 4. This is part of a 4. It looks like it's got to be that, 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 and that. I never feel quite proven that there's no other way of doing these is the problem. Interesting that these boxes are blocked off, but these ones aren't. Let's do this too. Exactly 7. Well, this has to come out and do that. That has to be locked. And now this is all locked in. One, two, three, four, five, six. It has to be that. Because if I did anything else, the cell would be locked off. And then it's got to be that. And there's only one way out. So it's got to be that. That. This comes out. Let's change the color. This has to come out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 2 more in here, which can't come through. So this has to come through. But this can't get any further. So I don't know how this goes. But all of this must be blue because purple can't take any of those. And 1, 2, 3. This is a region. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one more in here because blue's going to take one of these. So this goes one more in one direction. So this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aren't there multiple ways of filling this? I mean, this is a different region. Green must come to this, because otherwise it's not getting out. This can't be purple. Blue must come to here, and that's purple. It's that wall. This can't be blue, so it's green. This can't be blue. One, two, three, four, five. It could be purple. Could it be green? Like if blue came up. No, this has to be purple. Because if blue can't take this, and if this is green, considering blue is only 6, blue would have to come here, and it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is not an area of 7. So purple must take this. Blue now comes up completing blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This must be purple. Hang on, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This must be green, which means that connects up. That's the 7. That's the 7. Holy cow. That was really clever. I'm really hoping this stream doesn't get bot attacked like the previous ones were. Okay. Size 11. Well, that has to come out. These can't be green. But in here, I've only got 16. So there is a region that comes out here. But there's only one region that comes out here. Now, it could be turquoise. In fact, I'm almost certain it's going to be. Because I've only got 2 colors in here. I can't have 3 colors in here. I'd need to have 22 cells in here as only one is coming out. So all of these are a different color. Let's make them a different color again. Now, if turquoise wrapped around here, I wouldn't get to 11. So this has to be yellow, because if turquoise wrapped all the way down to here, then I couldn't extend yellow to 11. Same to here. If turquoise wrapped around to here, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maximum. Yellow must come to here. Same here, I expect. If turquoise was this would be maximum of 9. So it must come to here. Is it the same here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, yellow must come to there. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only need 2 more yellow. If this came to here, this would only get 1. Must come to here. And now I need 1 more yellow, but turquoise must get out. So that's yellow. That's really nicely done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That must come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that can be a different color. And I have completed an window. Exactly 5. Now this is a different color. So yellow must grow. Yellow must grow. Orange must grow. So yellow must grow, completing yellow. Now, if orange came this way, now this is a region, and this isn't either orange or purple, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 15. So I'm doing it all with this. So if blue came into here, purple wouldn't complete. Same as if blue came to here, purple wouldn't complete. And I think it's the same. If I brought blue into here, no, I could bring blue into here. So purple takes one of those two. But if I bring orange into here, blue can't complete. I can't bring orange this far. So this must be blue. But this now is either orange or blue. And if I brought blue around to here, it's too big. So orange must do this. This must be blue. Which means this is orange, completing orange. That's blue, and that's purple. Exactly 6. Well, there's a 4 there, and there's a 4 there, which must grow and do that. So this now must come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 6. That's a different. I mean, that feels right. I'm trying to explain what I'm doing rather than just put stuff in. The problem is I don't understand what I'm doing. So blue can only go one further. So if... And it can't come to here. Blue must go to here, because if it came to here, I'd have border issues. Now, the only thing that can fill this is green, which must go here. And this can't be green now, which must come down and out. This can't be yellow. Green must continue. Yellow can't come out, so it does that. Yellow can't come up here, so it comes up here. And there's the yellow 6. I need one more of these, but I need to do a 6 region. So this is a different. These must be orange, so orange must connect up that way, and there's green. This is so good. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. By 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 120. So there's only 2 regions. So that's one region. This is a different region. Orange must come out and come down, must come out. Well, I watched the CTC one this morning, and that was basically them solving without doing any explaining. It was like, must be this, must be this, must be this, move on. Got to be this, got to be this, got to be this, move on. I've been doing a series of Sudoku solves, which are BremSter without BremSter, which is basically me solving without explaining. Now, if I tried to run red up to here, these would all have to be orange. And they'd have to come down to here, which might work. But one of these is orange and one of these is red. One of these is orange. It's this bit here that I'm... So what is this? Because that comes out and it can't go up. So this is the other color. So this now has to continue along and come up. And now all of these are the green color. And now blue must come up. Now all of these are the green color. And this must link up. And this must link up. But we've now got a problem. This can't come down any further. This must be green, which must link up this way. And blue comes in this way, making all of those blue and all of those green. Those become blue, this becomes green. Blue must grow, green must come to here. Blue must grow, this must be green. 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 Now I don't know, my count is the problem. Blue must grow and therefore run up here, so all of these are green. And now blue is trapped. And this is where I've got to count, which is kind of crap. I feel that blue... That's the size of blue? That's it. And I got it because it warned me when I made blue too big. Okay. Area of exactly 2. Well, that's a 2. 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 And that's a 2. How is that not a 1 difficulty? Exactly 5. That's a 3. This has to come out. This can't. This could come up, but it can't come up 2. This can't be dark green. I get the feeling I'm really slow at these. Whatever this is, these are different. And the same here. Whatever this is, these are different. And I get the feeling that's important. If this comes this way, this comes this way, I don't see why that's a problem. Oh man, so easy. If this comes this way, this comes this way. I'm not sure. Why does this... Oh, this can't go up 2, so it needs to come right at least 1. Yes. Because it can't go up 2. And this can't go down 2. This needs to come into this square, though. Oh, maybe not. Yes. Because if it doesn't, it's doing that, and this is a region of size 4. So this needs to come into here, and I think it now needs to pick up this. Nothing else can pick up this. I think it now has to be that, doesn't it? And that is a complete. And that is a complete. And now, if anything else comes in here, this won't be big enough. If this is anything other than this turquoise color, this cell here, turquoise can't get big enough. So that's the 5 down here. Now this comes out. Now that could easily just be green. But if orange comes up, it can't go this way. So it must take this cell, because the maximum it could take is 1 and 2. So that is where it must go. So now it... Hang on. This is broken. No, it can do that. And it must do that. Because this is a region, and if it goes this way, this is trapped. But it can't go... It must go somewhere. So it can't go... If it goes up... So how do I explain this? I can kind of see it. If it goes up, that's as far as it can go without hitting the barrier. So I'd need to take those two cells, basically, which traps this in. So I can't do that. And if I go this way, this is trapped. So I need to make it that. And that has to be the region. Now, there's only one way out of here. So if this was a different color than yellow, yellow would be trapped. So that's yellow. Now, this is something. But there's only one way out of here. Whatever color this is, if that's not that color, there's nothing else that can get into there. So now this becomes the orange, which comes to here, and that completes it. Now, the biggest puzzle is, why haven't I turned on my air conditioning, seeing it's getting so ridiculously hot here again? Part of it is the gaming computer. This is the same grid, but with a different size. So I've got more freedom this time. But I've got less opportunities for things to connect up. So this is either red. Yeah, I've got less opportunities for things to connect up. This blue has to take this cell. Because if blue doesn't take this cell, this one here, then it must go up, and then it has to take this cell and it's trapped. So blue takes all of those. Yeah, the light blue must go up one, because if it doesn't go up one, it can't take two down. And it can't connect. So that's that 4, and then that's that 4, and that's that 4. This is so clever. That's that 4. This must take another one. This is now a region, but blue is only taking one more, and if it was to come up here, this would be orphaned. So it's that, and then this can't be light blue, but the only things that can reach these two cells are light blue and red. So that's the red. I didn't mean to change the color there, but it's what happened. This now has to be a separate 4. What can this be? It can't be this dark blue. I can't get it. It can't be turquoise, and there's no other color. I can only have one other color in here. So this is yellow. And yellow is either those 4 or those 4 with turquoise coming up. So I need to solve it here. But turquoise must come this way, which means this must come up. So if yellow was to take those 4, this could be turquoise, this could be, sorry, if yellow was to take those 4, we'd have blue, turquoise, and pink, and that would be fine. If yellow was to take those 4, that would be blue, and nothing could reach this. So blue is the only thing that could reach this. That makes pink there, turquoise there, and yellow is those 4. Having watched the CTC stream and them just going, it's got to be this, 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 I feel really, really bad at this, but I feel like I'm explaining what I'm doing better. All regions are exactly 5. So that's a 4. That's at least a 3. Let's change the color. Now this is a different shape, but there's a lot of different ways of shaping a 5 region. But this must come out. This can't go down, so that's the yellow region. And then there's a region here. But this must do that now, but it can't come down because then it would be the same shape. So that's that region. Then this must do this, but this can't continue because then it would be the same shape, so it must come down. Then this does this. That was very clever, by the way. I do like that trick. Yeah, I've made my things on that a little bit clear recently, so I don't want to... So if this goes this way, it would have to go down, and this would be the same shape. So this must go down. Because if this had gone this way... no, that's not true. It could have then come down here and these would be different shapes. But it must take that. Now, there's one more cell in here that is taken by this shape. And the rest can't be a completely different color because then there's only 4 cells. So the rest must be made up of turquoise and blue. Now, if it comes this way, the only thing that could reach here is turquoise. And if it goes this way, the only things that could reach these are turquoise. So those must be turquoise. And now these have to be different shapes. And if it went this way, turquoise would have to go this way so that they're not the same shape. If it went down, this can't go down now. Because if it went down, turquoise would have to go, oh no, it could go down and then turquoise could go this way. But then this would be orphaned. So this must go this way so that turquoise can be a different shape by doing that. And then those must be blue. Holy cow. And now this is another color again. Let's make it a little more distinctive. Now this is not a T shape, so blue must go this way because it's a different shape to that. Now this must come out. But they could link up, right? No, they can't. These can't link up. If this linked up, whichever way it grew, here, then it would be a reflection of this shape, or here it'd be a reflection. These can't link up, so blue must come down and green must come down. So orange must come down and green must come down. And this can't be green, and the only thing that can fill it now is orange. So green must come down and that must come down. And these must be different shapes, but green must come down, so this now must bend. This is insane. So it's now all about these not being able to be the same shape. If yellow went this way, orange would have to fill all of those, and it can't. yellow must come down. And now red can't go down 2, or if red went... but red must come down 1, but it can't come down 2, or it'd be a reflection of that. That's the solution. That's... So what are all these puzzles, considering I'm at 19 out of 20? But let's try them. Exactly 5 with Geminis. So only... Well, I don't know that that's true. But there's 9 here. So there's a 5 region completely encompassed in here. And there's a 5 region... So this must come out. And this must come out. Because there's a 5 region completely encompassed in here. And that must end it. Because 9 plus 5, those are the ends of those regions. So that's a region. That's a region. And that's a region. That's really nice. So this must go this way, but it can't be this shape. Because then that would... Oh no, it must be this shape. So blue is that and pink is that. And this is broken. Okay, so this is wrong. This is absolute... Hang on, how is this? It says everything is correct. I thought my logic was good, but how do I fit that shape? Oh, this is the purple. I made a mistake. I forgot that this could be the purple. Yeah, for me, it's finding the puzzle that's the puzzle. And now there's 15 more puzzles in this area. All regions must be one of these shapes. Well, there's no way I can fit a 3 long T-pace in here. So that must be all, and it must come out here or out here. Hang on. No, this is... Oh, wait. Yeah. No. There's a 3... It's either like that, or it's like that. Don't understand. If it's like this... No, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. How is this going to work? How is this ever going to work? Oh, so how do you do this 2 section? The only way I could see would be that. No, that doesn't work. It'd have to be that, but that doesn't work either. Oh, yes, it does, because you can then do that. That's insane. But that doesn't work either. Because then I've got an orphaned cell. No, I don't. I then have to do that, which allows me to put a T-piece in here. This is cray-cray. But that feels forced. But this hasn't gotten any easier. What's the logical... Like, was that forced? It feels it was. And then this is a 3 long, which means it's either a T-piece like this, or this is a 5 long. So it must come this way. And then it's either those 2 cells or those 2 cells. I have got the nope achievement. If I came up here, how would I ever do this? Because the only way of getting out of here would be going in this direction or something. Actually, this is impossible in the current state, isn't it? No, it's not. But the only way I could see of doing it would be something like that, which is too long. No, that is right. And then something like that, and that doesn't work. So this is already broken. This is already broken. Hang on, it says this is correct. So it must do this. I thought my logic to here was right, but it feels broken now. I can't see how to progress. Because if it's a T-piece, it takes these. And if it's not a T-piece, it takes those. But if it takes those... I mean, how do I get this at all? I see one way, but it doesn't feel like a logical proof. It feels like just trial and error. Like I could do that, and then I could do a T-piece in there. And then I could do a T-piece in there. But now I'm broken again, because this has to continue to here, and I've got no way of picking this up. So if this wasn't a T-piece and went up, I could do a T-piece in there, and then I complete that, and I complete that. That's nuts! That is positively nuts. The nope achievement was I went into a puzzle. I misclicked on a puzzle I wasn't planning on doing next, and I exited out of that puzzle, and that's the nope achievement where it says, I'm not doing that. So all regions must either be a 2x2 or a 3x3. So I can mark in these. I can also mark in that and that. Now what? There's a 2 in here. So this is only part of a 2x2. There's a 3 in here. So this is only part of a 3x3. And there's a 3 in here. So that's only part of a 3x3. But it could be a 3x3 in the corner. 3x3 in the corner. Make it a spotlight color. This is a 3. So if I did 3, 3, 3, I could do a 2 here, a 2 here, a 2 here, and then continue with 3. So it's something about counts. Like this is part of a 2 by 2. But 2 by 2, 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 I could fill a lot of the bottom of the grid with just 2 by 2s. Hang on, these have to be 2 by 2s. Doesn't there have to be borders in here? Because I can't put a 3 by 3 in here. Which means this has to be a 2 by 2. Because if I put the 2 by 2 in here, I can't fill those squares. So this is a 2 by 2. Meaning this is a 2 by 2. And now these have to be 2 by 2s. No, that's not true. This could be a 2 by 2 and that could give me the ability to 3 by 3, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by 2. So that's not proven. But this is all filled up with 2 by 2s. But I could go 2 by 2 here, 2 by 2 here, 2 by 2 here, 2 by 2 here, 3 by 3 here, and 3 by 3 here. And then 3 by 3 here. I don't see why that's a problem. 2 by 2 here, 2 by 2 here leaves that unfilled. Let me try that again here. If this is a 2 by 2, that becomes a 2 by 2, and this becomes a 3 by 3. This becomes a 2 by 2. Maybe I could make that a 3 by 3. No, because then this would be a 2 by 2, and I couldn't make this a 3 by 3. So that doesn't work. So this would have to be a 2 by 2. This would be a 3 by 3. This is a 2 by 2. And I've got, oh no, I could make that a 3 by 3, and I think I get everything. No, I don't. I don't get those two cells. So I've gotten up to here. So let's clear the notes. I've got up to here. This becomes a 3 by 3. This is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. And I just can't complete it. So this can never be a 2 by 2. That must be a border, making that a 2 by 2 and that a 2 by 2. Meaning this is a 2 by 2, meaning those are borders, meaning this is now a 3 by 3. This is a 2 by 2, meaning I can't fit a 3 by 3 in here. This is a 2 by 2, and this is now the 3 by 3. This is now a 2 by 2. That feels absolutely forced. I don't like it. So this is now a 2 by 2. And this is now a 2 by 2. This is now a 2 by 2, and that is now a 2 by 2. But I can't, this has to be a 3 by 3, or that is left isolated. And now this has to be two 2 by 2s, or I'm left isolated. And I've got the same here. This has to be a 2 by 2, which can't grow. This has to be a 2 by 2, which can't grow. This is now a 3 by 3. These are now two 2 by 2s. This is a 2 by 2 because I can't grow. This is a 2 by 2. I can't put a 3, this could be two 3 by 3s. But this is a 2 by 2. If this is two 3 by 3s, actually I think that's forced now, isn't it? I go 3 by 3, 3 by 3, 3 by 3, and 3 by 3. I think that was a logical solve rather than just going if this therefore. I mean, I was doing an if this therefore, but I was trying to prove it. I'm definitely not as fast as other solvers, but... And that was a 6. This is gonna kill me. This is a 7, so this is the hardest difficulty in the game. So this has to come out, and it has to go either up or down. So this is going to go in one of those directions. Actually, let's just do that as a... This is the same. And this is going to go in one of those directions. What else can I tell? Now, this comes out, but it could be an L. This comes out, but it could be an L. So this is a different color. There must be a border here. No, that's not true. This could be a T facing in a different direction. So what do I know? They're all 4-cell. They're all 4-cell. Where I think the restriction is here. This is where it's closest, but I don't think... there's multiple ways of doing this. Like I could do an L coming down and a T. So it's possibly how do you fill out the middle? Though you could fill out the middle. Actually, it might be how do you fill out the middle. Although you might be able to fill out the middle with like a bunch of stuff like that. So I don't see any forcing. Yeah, the corners. Good point. Because you can't put a T in the corners, can you? And well, this one could be part of an L, but this one can't. And this one can't. So these are the same. But this one could be part of an L. But these ones can't. There's nothing close enough. So these are parts of L's that continue in one direction or the other. But the top corners don't give me a restriction. Like if this goes this way, then I need to start putting L's in here. And that might be forcing. But without that, it is still possible to do like 2 T's to fill a section like that. So I'm not seeing the logic that's forcing it yet. This can't go up. If this went up, the only thing you could put in here is an L, and then that's a straight piece. If this goes up, how do you fill this square? You can't put a T in it. Oh, no, you could do it that way, and then this could be a T. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if this goes this way, how do you fill that cell? You can't do it. So this orange must go that way, and that's complete. Now, this isn't part of a T, so it's part of an L. But this is restricted. What is that part of? It can't be part of a T, it's part of an L. I can't do an L that runs into this. It has to be that and that now. This is all the same. And there's multiple ways of doing that. Well, hang on a minute. This can't go down. This must go up. Because, oh no, wrong mode. Arg, the fact that it does that. This doesn't have to go up because it could do that. I thought I saw a conflict, but there's always a way out. Now this comes out. If it goes this way, then these are all sad. So it doesn't go that far, but it doesn't have to come this direction at all. It could be a T like that, or a T like that, or an L like that. Yeah, this is a 7, all right. I don't want it to be a trial and error puzzle. I actually remember watching the stream this morning and watching a lot of trial and error, which I tried not to do. I made errors and I went a long way through the puzzle where they did the trial and error. And then I had to roll back because I made a mistake. But they were like, well, if we do this, then we do this, and 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 that will break. And then they just rolled back. And it was like, I don't want to do that. I want to know why I'm doing it. So this is not part of a T anymore. So this is part of an L. If it goes this way and then to here, that's not broken. If it goes this way and then to here, if it does that, that's not broken. It could easily go 1 or 2 in both directions. I mean, the thing is, if you watch a lot of solves, including some of mine, where it's like chaos construction, for Sudoku, it's still a case of if you do this, then it's this, then it's this, then it's this, and the coloring breaks. People seem to hate bifurcation for numbers, but love it for colors. And I've received solve guides for chaos construction puzzles. One of them literally had where it was like, if this cell is blue, and I don't remember the color, but if this cell is blue, and then it was like 2 pages of solving, and then it's broken, so this cell right at the beginning of 2 pages of solving can't be blue. And it was like, no. that cell, because this can't be orange, because orange can't get to it. Right. Yeah, these diagonal cells are a bit interesting, aren't they? This cell can't be orange. Orange can't get to it. Red can't get to it. So it must go up, because it's got to go somewhere. And it's still, if I took all of those, orange would be the wrong shape. So it must go up again, and it's now an L. And it can't take this cell, and neither can red. Orange must go that way. That's a beautiful spot. And now this cell is broken. Okay, so I've made a mistake here. You're right. This can't be orange. It's its own color. Ah, no. Look at this. Okay. No. Yeah. Look at this. This can't be orange. If orange comes this way, this must go up and then must go up again. And this cell is broken. It can't go anywhere because it can't connect to red and it can't get out anywhere. So that's not possible. So orange can't come into this cell. Orange is an L doing that because this has to come down. And then they're the only 4 cells it can take, making that locked in, meaning this must take those, and those are the same color, meaning that must go up, and that's locked in. That was a beautiful spot. Because now I'm thinking about that cell. Oh, blue must turn. Yellow must take this and then come up, and it must turn. So the only thing that can take that is purple. So the only thing that can take that is blue. Then this all becomes one color. Yellow comes to here. The only thing that can take that is red. This is now one color. The only thing that can take these are red and yellow, but the only thing that can reach this is yellow. I can see a solution and therefore it feels forced. The only thing that can reach this is yellow, so there's yellow. The only thing that can reach that is red. The only thing that can reach that is purple, and we're done. Beautiful spot. It's this channel here. This bit there was what's important, particularly that cell. Butterfly, you're a genius. And I think the bonus of what I did here is I explained what was going on. I didn't understand what was going on, but I explained it. So this, whoops, I'm in the wrong mode. So this must come out, but it must be a bendy region. This must come out and must be a straight region. And that must be a 2-cell region, so it's that. Okay. So these aren't the same region. These aren't the same region. So this must come out, but it must be an S-shaped region. So it must do that, right? And this must be a 2-cell. This must be a single. This must come out. This is different. So I can't draw the 3-piece this way. So the 3-piece must come that way. That's a single. That's a 4 straight. This is the L. It's got to be that. Hey, Eric. You don't need to place whole shapes at once. It can be useful to color an incomplete part of a shape. I'm aware of this. Well, isn't it just that? And I didn't explain that one very well. That was this one. So the reason that was the case is, yeah, I didn't explain this one well at all. But the reason this one was the case is because you, as soon as you were drawing the shapes, you couldn't connect any of these up because they didn't work. But it was just easy to draw them in, and there was heaps of room. This was like a 1 difficulty. So, So this is part of a 2x2 in the corner. So that's locked. This is a 1 cell. This has multiple solutions. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. So this can't be 2 1s. The 2x2 can't go here because neighboring regions must be different shapes. That's a 2x2, that's a 2x2. It's the different shapes. I didn't see the mingle shape here. All regions must be one of this shape. So that's a 3x3. I can't put a 3x3 next to it. So that's a 2x2 and that's a 2x2. Can't put a 2x2 next to it. That's a 3x3. That's a 2x2. That's a 3x1. Polyomino. Oh. So this is a 2x2. Now 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 this is a 2x2. Forcing this to be a 2x2. Forcing this to be a 2x2. Forcing this to be a 2x2. Forcing that to be a 2x2. Forcing that to be a 2x2. Okay, that was just forcing 2x2s. That one was kind of okay, I think. That's a 2x2. Now this one must come out and then must connect to a 2x2. So it must be that. This one must come out and connect to a 2x2. This is now a 2x2. This comes out and connects to a 2x2. This comes out and connects to a 2x2. This comes out and connects to a 2x2, and that's the shape. Okay. This is a 3 straight. This is a bendy, so it must do that. This is an L, so it must do that. This is a U, so it must do that. And this is an L, so it must do that. And that's the single that's left over. Okay. This is a 2x2 in the corner, which is forced. Okay. These ones are easier because I'm going into a new rule set, so the difficulty is dropped down, so I learn the easier difficulties. They ramp up within the rule set and within the section. Because if it was just always hard, this is the thing I can't convince people in the Sudoku community. What you want is your difficulty range you want is like 50% 1s and 2s, 30% 3s, 15, or I'm getting the math wrong here, but like then 15% 4s and like 5% 5s. Anything else just causes burnout. Let's imagine your workday. If you go to your workday and you are working at your highest level of mental function, 8 hours a day, you burn out. What you want is you want about half of your workday to be the stuff that you cruise through, and that you do that is engaging and interesting, but you kind of cruise through it because it keeps you engaged and you're reinforcing your abilities and you do all of that. Then you want some of it to be a little bit of a stretch where you can turn around and you can share with other people and you can do all of that sort of growth stuff and you're sort of learning new things, but it's not so challenging that you're burning out. Then you want like a little bit of your day, 1 or 2 hours a day tops, to be stuff where it's like, okay, I need to sit down, I need to like block out the world and I need to push through this and I need to get that, I need to get through these tasks, I need to learn something, I need to focus, I need to develop something new, I need to work on something, I need to, you know, get this spreadsheet or these things done or whatever it is you do, I need to get this really thing. Like if you're, I mean, I go back to when I was working in like sort of a bit foodie and it's like the big cleaning jobs. You wouldn't be doing those big cleaning jobs all the time. Those would be the things where you put focus time aside because you're dealing with dangerous materials and all of that sort of stuff. You don't do that the whole time unless that's your expertise. And then you have a little bit that you wouldn't do every day that you absolutely give everything. And those are your crisis moments. But if in your puzzling, everything is a 5-star, you're dealing with crisis moments the whole time. So when all people are doing is hard puzzles, they're just burning themselves out. And every one of them saying, I'm kind of done with puzzles. It's because they're never cruising. They're never doing the stuff to just reinforce the fun. All they're doing is the burnout stuff. And it's like, No, management doesn't understand this. I get it, Keith, but it is the way that people function. So if this went down, there is no way to do that 3. So this must go across and do that. And then I can do the 3 like that. This is now that. This is now an L, which is separate to the 4. This is now that, allowing that and that. But it's important to manage those mental burnout phases, and people aren't doing it. I'm trying to see even how to, because it kind of feels like it has to be that, but that doesn't work. I could do, yeah, it's that and that. Because they're the only way of getting those 2 shapes into the grid twice and cover those squares. How far ahead of me are you, Butterfly? So that must be a 2 because it can't be a 2 by 2. This can't be a 1 or a, this can't be a 1 or a 2 by 1. So this must be a 2 by 2 because it can't be the same as either of those. This now must be a 1. This now must be a 2 because they have to separate. This must be a 1. This now must be a 2. This must be a 1 and that must be a 2. Oh, and that's moving to that one. So I want to kind of stay in this area. This is part of a 2 and this is part of a 2. So the 3 must run up. No, that's not true. The 3 could run that way. Okay. Okay. So this cell has to run horizontally. And it's got to be part of a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all part of the same region, and then it picks up 2 more. Right. So that's not part of the 3. That's not part of the 3. That's part of the 3. So this is part of the 2. This is part of the 2. The 3 can't go horizontally. That's part of the 3. This now must pick up those because it can't go 2 this way anymore. So the 3 goes down here. This is a horizontal 3. That's a 2. That's a 2. This can't go down. That's a 2. Must pick up those. And that's a 2. Bam! I like that puzzle. And that's using the sandwich Sudoku trick of which cells must be taken. I like that one. That was clever. Okay. So this 2x2 can't go that way. So this is part of the same region. This 2x2 can't go that way. So that's a 2x2. And we're broken? No, I got that wrong. I see where I went wrong. Because it just can't go this way. It can go down or it could go across. And it can't go up. It can't go that way because then this is trapped. So this must take those because if it takes those, that's trapped. And if it takes those, that's trapped. And if it takes those, it's picking up the wrong shape. That is a 2x2. And there's your 2. And this 2x2 now can only take those. This 2x2 can only take those. This 2x2 can only take those. This 2x2 can only take those. And I'm broken. So I've made a mistake here. This feels like the important cell. That's part of a 2x2. It can't go up. That's not possible. This is trapped. That's not possible. This is trapped. That's not possible. This is trapped. So that is a 2x2. Which means that is a 2x2. Which means that is a 2x2. Which means that is a 2x2. That is a domino. That is a 2x2. That is a 2x2. That is a 2x2. I focused on the wrong starting point. I should have focused up here. I mean, once I found this, I focused on the wrong starting point. That's where my logic went wrong. And that's okay. This is how you learn. Or in my case, this is how I screw up. So this can't be a 4 that goes up. So this goes up 2. And it must take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it must take at least those 3, and that is a border. That is a 2x2. That is a 2x2. So this 3x3 can't go this way or to pick up that. That is a 3x3. Let's make that a different color and border it in. So now this, now there's options there, but this is a 4x, which now can't go down. So the only place I can do the 4x3 is there. So now that's a 2x2. The only place I can do the 3x2 is there. The only place I can do the 2x2 is there. And now I've got to do a 4x2, which must go there, making that the 2x2. And that is that. Bam! I think I'm explaining this better than another streamer who shall go nameless, who is actually better at explaining than me, but doesn't like explaining it when it's obvious. Zoom in on a puzzle? What do you mean zoom in on a puzzle? You mean like zoom in like this? Holy shit, there's stuff hidden down there? Was that supposed to be a hint that there's stuff hidden down in the hole? Okay. This must be part of a plus. So it's got to be that. This must be part of a plus. There's options for that. This must be part of a plus. Well, actually, there's options for this, but it can't do that. So, but it could do that. But if I'm not sure. If I did this, where would this? No, there's options. Ah, but each thing must be the size, shape of a region. So that's a 2, that's a 2. This now comes up and touches the plus. So that's the plus. That's a 2. This is now a plus because that had to be a 2 because it couldn't be a plus. And if I did that as a 2, I'm locking things off. So that's a plus. That's now a 2 because it can't be part of a plus. That's a 2. No. Hang on, I'm broken here. Okay, let me roll this back. This has to be part of a plus. It has to go up, and that must be part of a plus, because there's nowhere else I can put a plus touching this. I can't see any other way of doing a plus touching this. So that's part of a 2, because it can't be part of a plus. This is part of a 2, because it can't be part of a plus. This is now part of a plus, because it has to come out. This can't be part of a plus. So that's part of a 2, and now that would trap if it's not part of a plus, so that's part of a plus. This can't be part of a plus, so that's a 2. We're broken. This is wrong. Hang on, it says it's correct. This is part of a 2. This has to be part of a 2 because it can't be part of a... Oh, it's the same thing as down there. BremSter, you're an idiot. This is part of a 2. 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 What a numpty am I? The same logic I used to start it, I needed to use here, and I didn't think of it. These are all different. So this must come out. This must come out. This is different. So that's that. This, no. Well, this must come out, but it can't bend into there. Because then it would have to extend either here or here. So this must come out again, which means this is different. This must come out so that bends that way. This bends that way, and that is now that. This can't turn, so it must come up. No, stop. I keep pushing that button when I don't mean to. This comes out, and if it was to turn this way, it couldn't continue. So that's a border. This must come up. If this comes this way, I've blocked off a region, so it must do that now. It must do that now. If I did this, this is trapped. So this must do that. And this is 2. I'm not a fan of hiding puzzles like this. I'm really not. Honestly, I often say if you want to hide your puzzles so that the people can't find them, they shouldn't be solved. There's something about the puzzle that you don't want it to be solved. This can't go across, so that has to go down. Yeah, there's always a beam, but some of them are still really hard to find. That has to be at least a 2. What am I even thinking about? Then that has to be at least a 2. But it can't become a 3, so that's a 2. This has to come out. This has to come out. If this came one further, this would have to be a vertical 3, and it couldn't be. So that ends that. That's your vertical 3. This is your 2. And we get a 2 and a 2. Like, that vertical beam there on that 5 is almost impossible to see. And are there other... And that one over there, where you have to, like, bend your camera around. And that one there is dumb. I'm just drawing the shapes in. Like, this isn't solving. This is drawing the shapes in. That was just drawing the shapes in. 3 has to go down because it can't go across. 3 has to go across because it's the only way it can go. 2 has to go up. 3 can't go across, I'd run into the 2, so the 3 goes up. 3 can't go across, it has to go up, which completes that 2. 3 can't go across, it has to go up, which means that's the 2. 3 has to go across because it can't go up without running into the 2, making that the 2 and that a 1. 2 now goes down, 2 goes across, and 2 goes across. Okay. Like, just burying these puzzles where they can barely be seen. Is that one down there? Yeah, but I may have done it. Is like... I don't know. So this has to be a horizontal because it can't be a vertical because it's 5 and I've only got 4 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I must draw 5. So those 4 are included. This shape, it kind of feels like it's actually giving you the shape. It actually kind of feels like it must be that. But it can't be. Because where do I put the 4 on this? I can't put the 4 on this along here because then this couldn't go up in either of those two. One of these two has to be part of the yellow. So where do I put the 4 on this? I could put it here, but then I'd have to go down into here. And I can't put it up here. So this is the 4. And the 2 is either here or here. But that means this is the 5, and that's that shape. Now this shape, I could do the 2. If this was the 2, this would be the 3 and this would be the 1. Does the 3 have to run up here? Yeah, because... yeah, the only place I could do the 3 now is there. Which means that is part of it and it's one of those two. But this needs a 4 length with 2. So that's the 2 for that, and that's that. Okay. And that's now unlocked a whole heap of other puzzles that are hidden down here, including all sorts of things. Oh, man, if you want to hide your puzzles, you don't want people to solve them. It must now bend. It must do that. Because as soon as you start one of these shapes, it has to bend, and it can only bend in one direction. Now this shape I can't start and go up and then bend and go up. It must do that. So that's separate. This is now an L, so that's separate. This is a T-piece, which can only fit in like that. Those 4 must be included, because it's got a 2 by... no, that's not true. But those 2 must be included, and then it's either those 2 and that, or those 2 and one of those 2. But this is now all 4 of those and that. So that's separate. Hang on a minute. Yeah, and now this is that. Like that thing buried in there. Those must be part of the T. Those must be part of the bend. Which means those are part of the L. And now the only place I can put this T is in those 3, which means this is that L, and I'm broken. So I've made a logical error here. That feels correct. The T is either through here or through here. Yeah, they don't want you to find the puzzles. It's really frustrating that that's the case. It's weird that I no longer see people who've liked the stream or anything. YouTube decides not to show you that anymore. It's very strange. Please like the stream. This has to come out here because the T can either go there or there. I can't see any other way that this can go in. This must include those 2. Because if it's here, it includes those, and if it's here, it includes those. It must also include that one. So now this needs a 3 long. And the only place I could do that is here. Yeah, and now this needs a 3 long. The only place I could do it is here. The only place I can do this L is here. Which makes... No, this is broken again. Okay, I don't understand. These must be part... I don't see how they can't be part of the same shape. Which means these must be part of the same shape. But these must be part of the same shape. So the only place this L can go is like that. Which means this must be like that. This must be like that. This could be like that. This could be like that. And that could be like that. And that's how you solve it. I should have started at the top. That was very clever. What is the difference between this and just saying that you can only use T-pieces? Asking for a friend. Just kidding. We all know I don't have any friends. No, seriously, what's the difference between this and saying that you can only use T-pieces? Because you don't have to use T-pieces in the middle here. That's the difference. So what's taking these shapes? Hang on, how do I make this a T-shape? There's only one way. It's that, isn't it? That is the only way of making that a T-shape. And now the only way of making yellow a T-shape is that. Now the only way of making... Oh no, there's multiple ways. Did I miss something here? Yellow... Yeah, it must take this, and then it... Yeah, that's the only way of doing it. This must come up. There's multi... But if I go up again, this is orphaned. So that's the T-shape. And then this is the T-shape. So let's change the color of that. The only way of doing that as a T-shape now is that. So we end up with that. We end up with that. We end up with that. Hello, plank time. So there's 8 more puzzles in this area, and I feel they're all hidden down here. Like, is that one over there? Like, how... See that thing there? You've got to, like, literally get it while it's right at the edge of the screen. That's stupid design, because you can't rotate the camera. So if you only ever... Like, it... Oh... And you can't even see the beam from here. You've got to, and you've literally only got those few pixels with which to see it. So these are different, these are different, this is different. And this now must go horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it must take those 4. And this is a border. But this must take 4, so it takes those 3. And this must take 3, so it takes those 2. Now this 4 must take those, so that must grow. This 3 must take those, so that must grow. This 2 must take those, so that's the 2. This is a 1. This is a 3 now. So this must take those 5. That's the 2, that's the 5, and that's a single. Yes, we've been talking about their stream. So where are the other hidden ones? What is the point of hiding the puzzles? I don't understand. GG. So this must be part of a... Oh, good Lord. So it's a 5x5 shape. But I can only fit one of these 5x5 shapes. Can I feed them into each other? In fact, can they overlap? The only way I think I can do it... Actually, how can I do it? These twos have to fit into the gaps. Is it this? Is that it? And then we have a 2, a 2, a 2, a 2. No, that's not it. Because I've got an orphan cell. Ah. So it can't include this, this, or this. How can it go apart from that? Because this has to be the middle of it. Unless, can I do... No, that... Because this has to be the middle of it. I can't go that way. I can't go that way. I can't go that way. I can go that way. But if I go that way, we're broken. So can I flip it? I can't go that way. That way doesn't pick up the other G. I can't go that way. I can't go that way. Is there another cell I can use on the middle, as the middle? This is a trial and error puzzle. I don't feel this is a logic puzzle at all. Because I'm working in a 5x5 square. I can't start up here. Because then it'd have to be in one of those two squares, and it's not. I could start down here. But then that couldn't be the top of the G, because then it would do that. Or that, which doesn't work. So this has to be the bottom of the G, which is then forcing that, which doesn't work. I could put the G here, but that doesn't pick up this. So the bottom of the G can go here. Can it go here? Or can it go here? No, because then I don't pick up that. So it's got to be on this side. And if it goes here, I'm not touching this at all. because the only cells in this row I'm touching are those two. So it's got to go here, which does that, and I'm broken because I have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 broken. It can't go along the top. This is where this isn't a logic puzzle, because if it goes along the top, this is in the 4th row, and in the 4th row in the middle, the only way you can do that is if that's part of the G. So it goes like that. This is, I'm sorry, this isn't a puzzle. This is an exercise in trial and error. That's just an exercise in trial and error. That's not a puzzle. There's no logic to that. It's just, does it fit this way? No. 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 Does it fit this way? There's no logic in that puzzle. So that looks interesting to me, because it must pick up both of those, mustn't it? Because if I don't pick up both of those and then one of those two, I'm not getting the shape. Because if I come here without going into this, yeah, I can't do that because I need to go through a wall. It must pick up both of those, meaning this is isolated. So how do I do this? As that is a W, it looks to me like it must do that. Because if I come into the top, I need to bend. And I can't do that. So I can't come into the top. If I just come down, no, I could do that as well. But either way, I must come down. And then I must bend again, and I can't go this way or I can't continue the W. And then I must bend again. So it's either that cell or that cell. But this is now isolated, and that is isolated. But there must be, this is part of a T. But if this comes out here, I could put the T in here. And there's heaps of room for that to come here, that to come here, and I've got room for everything. Now this is part of... But I could do that lots of ways. But either way, it must include that, mustn't it? Because if I come out and down, or down and out, because I can't come through here. So that must hit that cell. Either that way or that way. This feels right, but again, I don't like it much. So this is notoriously weird. It feels like it must do that. Because where can I put a 3 long that touches this? I can't go to the left to get it. If I tried to put the 3 long here, or even here, I'd have to go through the wall. And if I put it here, I'm not going to get into that cell because this is now the middle cell of the 3x3, which doesn't have anything in it. So the 3 long has to be there. And now this has to do... No, this can't be right. that feels like it's the only place I could put it. No, it's not. I could put it there. Because if I put it here, this can't be completed. Because I'd need to go up and then straight for 2. And that doesn't work. Whereas if I put it here, this can now go in like that. Or even like that. Either way, it takes all of those. But this now needs to be 3 long. So it goes like that. And now that's the L. This now needs to do that. That's now the T. That's the W. This has to go horizontally. This has to go horizontally. This must go this way. Because if it didn't, it would take all of those and that would be broken. So it must go that way at least 1. And the same is true here. This can't go this way 3 or this is broken. So it must go this way at least 1. And now how do I fill this shape? This now must do that. And now this does go that way and that does that. And now that's a 3 and that's a 3. This can't be a 3. If this is a 3, this cell can't be filled because I can't do a bend and I can't do a 3. So that's not a 3. That is a bend. Now that is a bend. This can't be a 3. It could be 2 vertical 3s. But this can't go this way. That leaves those orphaned. It can't go that way. So this must go that way, leaving that as a 3. That now expands. That's a 3 and that's a bend. There's 4 puzzles that haven't been found, which they've decided to hide somewhere. Because they're not part of this area. They're part of this area. I mean, let's try and do the 6, but it's, oh, there's that still that 5 buried in there that you can almost see. It's so stupid. That is a 2. That is now a 3. There's the easy bit. I can see a lot of pressure being done in different ways. But again, like I could see that if this comes this way, this has to go up and then this is broken. So this can't come 3 this way. If this comes 3 this way, then the only way this could go is up, and then that's a 2 and that's a 2 and they conflict. But That's really hard to see. So that must take that, which means this is a 2, which means this is a 2. But that sort of stuff is really tricky to see. Now, do I get the same thing if that comes this way and blocks that off? Because then this would be a 3, 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 but then I could do that as a 2 and that as a 2. And that's all fine. That's a very long path to go, maybe. So you've got to solve half the puzzle to see if something is disproven. Woohoo! Proving logically, my ass. If this comes down, this comes down, this comes across, and that 3 is trapped. That's a little bit more obvious. If that one comes down, that one comes down, that one has to come across, and that 3 can't go anywhere. So the other way of seeing it is if that goes down, that must go down, and I can't put 2 3s in there. So that one must go across. Now this 2 must come out, so this 3 must come down, so this 3 must go across, so this 3 must come up. So the 2 comes up and this 3 comes across. Now this 3, no, that's not forced, but this one must come down, the 2 must come down, this 2 must come down, this 2 must come up, and this 3 must go across. Okay. This 3 comes across, this 3 comes up, this 3 comes up, the 2 comes down, the 2 comes down. This 3 now does that because this one blocked it, and that 3 does that. Okay. This 3 was always vertical, but now we know exactly where. That's a 2, that's a 2. Okay. There were a couple of chains in there, but this one was manageable and this one was manageable. The long one I tried of what happens if this comes one more digit, that was dumb, but I'm glad it wasn't needed. And now we've got this 6. Really? If this was an L, it would trap cells. So this is either an N or whatever it's called or a T. But if this was a T, the only way I could get out of that is with an L, and that doesn't work. So this can't be a T. Because what do I do with this cell? It'd have to grow, it'd have to grow, and then I can't make it an I and I can't make it that. So that doesn't work. This can't be a T. Because if I bring it into there to be a T, it's broken. So this now can't bend up and it must bend down, and that's forced. And now this must grow into here, this must grow into here. And now the only thing that can be is a T. At least I get 7 viewers. It's only 1%. It's only 1% of the competition. They're not competition. They're really not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So whatever is here must come out. So this blue can't connect up because there's 10 cells in here, but I'm working with 4 cell regions. So there's 8 cells in here that are fully independent, and that must come out. So this must grow, and therefore it's that shape. And then this, well, there's your the 4 that are locked in, and then that is that shape. Done. This must come out now. Let's make it a slightly more distinctive color. This must come out. How many cells have I got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So again, I can put 10 in here. These are part of the same shape. So that must be the T, mustn't it? No, 13. So there's three cells of this are in here. So it must do that. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. No. Yeah, there's only one cell of this coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 4 different shapes because it's 3 times 4. There's only one cell of the T coming in. That must be it. Now this is forced. This can't come straight down. In fact, this, yeah, if this came down, this would be an isolated cell. So this bends now. These are 2 L's. I don't see any other way of doing them. And they can be 2 L's. So the fact that they can be 2 L's means that they must be 2 L's because every solution is unique. That comes up here now. This must come up. And it can't enter this cell because then it'd be the wrong shape. And there is a border here. If this did that, I'd have too many cells. But if this did that, I'd have an isolated shape. I feel it must do that, which allows this to grow, that to do that. Because if I came into, that's only a 3-cell region. So it can only come in 1. That is now that, and that is now that. That was a 6. I wonder if what made that a 6 was the concept of counting cells. Because I only broke it open by counting cells. Look at all these little hidden puzzles that you can barely see. Like this is as zoomed in as I can get. We have a Houston, we have a problem. This must do that. And the reason this must do that is I have to could do that. Okay. Or okay, no, I'm wrong. Okay. But this must come out and form an L. This forms an L with one of those 2. So one of these 2 is filled. If this did that, I couldn't fill those. If this did that, I couldn't get out of those. So none of that is possible. It has to be this, doesn't it? But then this is broken. So how do I make this work? So I have to wrap around one of these squares, because if I don't wrap around one of these squares, I won't have the right shape. I can't wrap around this square because I leave that off. If I wrap around this square, I leave those orphaned. And if I wrap around this square, I leave that orphaned. So what's the trick? I could wrap around this square that way. Because unlike the other way thing I could potentially do, yeah, that's the only way to do it, because I can't move up to wrap around this square, but I can wrap around this square in a, not that way, in a closer way. I could do this one in a closer way. There's no other square I can wrap around in a closer way. Because this one is close enough that I could do it, but that cell not being in the grid prevents me from doing it. So that is forced. And now I'm playing There's nowhere else I can put one of these in. So now I'm filling this up with little angle pieces. And I can see lots of ways of trying to do it and seeing that it can probably work. Like if this goes down, I can see that I'm going to be able to start chaining these through and having this all work. But that's not a logical proof. Like I could, let me show you. This is, if I do that, I can then do that. Sorry, not that, 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 that. Hang on, we've got the wrong number of cells, don't we? This is hard. Oh no, I've got an extra cell here. That, and that's 4. But I could see that if I started here, it would probably work, but it wasn't a logical proof saying this couldn't go up. It was like, if I see that this went down, I kind of got this pattern that was kind of working to here, so I just tried it. It wasn't a logical proof. Got this again. I can't do that. I could do that. But if I did that, this can't be completed. So this can't go to the right. Now, it can't do that. So it can't go 2 to the right, because however I do that, I hit a wall or I block off that. So if I make it go 1 to the right, it would have to do that, which blocks off this. No, it doesn't. I could go 1 to the right. Can I go... and 1 to the right is the same as 1 to the left. So that is the way of going 1 to the right or 1 to the left. Can I go 2 to the left? I can't do it this way, I hit a wall. I can't do it this way, I hit a wall. So it would have to be that, and I hit a wall. The only way I can see this working is that. Okay. And now this can't loop this way. It must loop that way. And now the only way that works is that, meaning that's the 3. This is now forced to be that. This is now forced to be that. And I feel, no, I'm not broken. This is now forced to be that, with that being that and that being that. Okay. And that's 31 out of 31. Whew, that was a tough area. Did I finish all of the ones over here? I think I did, didn't I? Yep. Haven't finished all of these, so let's... Regions of area exactly 3. Now this must be a different color to red, so that's purple. This comes out. This comes out, so there's a wall here. So red goes up and blue goes up. This comes out. This comes out. This comes out and is a different region. This is a new color again. If blue comes up, this is forced out here and I've got a 2 region. So blue can't come up and must do that. And if this goes across, then I've got a 2 region. So this must come down and complete, meaning this is a region and this is a region. Now this is forced to be a region. Yellow must come out, and whatever this is comes out. Orange must complete. This comes out and cannot connect up, so it completes. This comes down and we're done. I don't think I'm hydrated enough. I'm enjoying my coffee, but I don't think I'm hydrated enough. Okay. Okay. Exactly 16. So there's 2 regions here. So this is one region. This is a different region. And they've got to have different shapes. Sure. But I'm not sure this is where we start. I'm thinking this is where we start. If orange comes up here, yellow has to get in here. That would mean orange comes out here, and that would have to do something like that. And then orange would have to get out, and that works. So that's actually not a problem. If yellow comes into here, then orange has to go to here. But I could easily do that and have orange come out and have yellow connect up. And that doesn't seem to be a problem either. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, if this is yellow, these are both orange. Does that work? I mean, if orange came down this way, we might have some problems. Although maybe not. I mean, they just happen to be the same shape, but... How is this difficulty 3, I ask? Because as I said, if this comes up and up again, it would have to come out. And it can't do that. If this comes up, how does it get out? It would have to be something like that. But then yellow has to get in here and orange is trapped. So if this comes up, how does orange get out? Because this is now yellow. And if I get yellow in here, I can't... but this is the similar problem as to what I hit before. Then now I think I need to make this yellow and these orange. But that doesn't work either. Because that's the same shape. But if I make this orange and these yellow, then orange has to come out and connect. Orange has to fill all of those. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if I do, yeah, okay. I don't feel I solved that one very well, but sure. Why not? My chat stream is always quiet. So I've only got, oh no, I do have two ways out through here. I was thinking I've only got one way out through here, but I've also got down here. Wanting to understand the logic of the puzzle. So this can't be, this is a completely new color. It is borders. This is a completely new color. So if green was to come this way, blue would have to do that. And then I start running into problems here. But not enough. I don't think. This is a new color. This is a new color. That's not true. This is a new color, but this could be purple. These are two different colors. Those are two different colors. So yellow must come out to here, correct? Yeah, yellow must come out to here because these are two different colors. So where does yellow go if it doesn't come out to here? It can't connect up down to here because this is 3 long. So that's a border, which means that comes out here and finishes, which means blue comes out to here. If yellow came out, this couldn't complete. So yellow can't come out, that's yellow, and this comes out. You've just got to think about this the right way and not go, it's obviously this, it's obviously this, it's obviously this, it's obviously this. Try and explain it so the people who are watching can follow along. This isn't blue. It can't, it could be purple, because purple could do this. Oh, blue can't go up. That is blue. And now purple must go up. So yellow must go up, and there's a border here, so green must come out, and now blue must do that. This can't be turquoise, so it must be this green, which now must come out and must come out again and completes. That completes yellow. That completes purple, and we're done. That was very clever. And I know there's probably this concept of I should be just understanding this better by now. But this is how fast I learn. Regions must be exactly 5. That must come out, that must come out, that must come out, that must come out. If this was to turn up, blue would have to turn out. Well, actually, no, let's think about this a different way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 regions in here, and that's 4 of them. They can't, none of those can share. This can't be purple. Sorry, this can't be aqua or red. It's another region. It could be blue or another color. So blue could come this way. If purple comes this way, where does red go? It has to do that, and that's broken. So purple can't come this. Whoa, 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 whoa. I see it. Purple. Let's talk about purple, baby. So, purple can't come this way without red being broken, because red would have to do this, and that doesn't work. But purple can't not come this way, or purple's broken. So purple must come this way, because otherwise purple is limited to 3 squares. So how does red get out now? That's red. That's really nice. That's now blue doing that. Purple can't come into this square, so that has to be blue. Blue can't come down, so that has to be blue. This is now another color. This has to come out, but this has to come out and connect, and that's the solution. That is stunning. Chat is quiet. But that was stunning. All I'm left with is these, there's a 3 over here, 4s and 5s. Okay, this is a region of exactly 5. This is a region of exactly 5. This is a region of exactly 5. And that is a region of exactly 5. Great. Now, it's the Geminis. This has got to connect to a W, which either does something like that or something like that. Now, it can't do that, because if I go this way, I then got to make a W, and that leaves an orphan cell, which isn't part of a 5. So I must, because there's no other way of doing it, I must bend, bend, and bend. So this must go that way. And that's forced. Now, this region this is 5 cells with only one way out. That has to be a 5 region, and this is now the T. That feels forced now, because I'm starting with, I can't start by going up. And if I go this way, I have to then, it would have to do like that, or whatever it is. What is it? It's, no, it would be that. And that doesn't work. Whereas I can do that. So that feels forced. So this is a 5 region. This must come out. Let's change its color to something more. This can't go down now. If this did that, I've got a 2 region orphaned. So this is that. And then this is the 5 region, and I'm broken. No, I'm not. I did this wrong. There was another option, which is that, which leaves this as a 5 region, leaves that as a 5 region, and that is a 5 region. That, another really nice puzzle. Regions of exactly 3. Rodents of unusual size. So there's only 2 ways of doing a 3 region, a straight or a bend. So this can't bend, because if this bent, then this would both have to be the same and different as that region. So this is a straight. So this is a bend. This is now a bend, so it's that. This is now a straight, which must go down. This is a straight, which must go across. This is a straight. Not sure where to, yeah, this can't be a bend. It's the same logic as up here. If this was a bend, this cell would both have to be the same and different to the bend. So that is a straight. So this is a bend, but I don't know which direction it goes. And this is a bend. But if I did that, I'd have an orphaned cell. So it has to go, it has to do that, doesn't it? Because if I went this way, it'd bend that way. So it has to do that. And then this is a bend. This bend now goes that way. This is a straight, which can't go down. That's a straight. And now we're broken. Okay, I've got this completely wrong. I feel like I'm good up to here. This can't bend. This has to be a straight. That feels correct. Now this has to be a bend, which means this has to be a bend. I can't do a bend that way. I can't do a bend that way. So I have to do a bend that way. Stop putting borders in, BremSter. You're breaking your own thing. And now this bend must go that way. That's forced. This now must be a straight, which must go that way, and this must be a straight, which can't go anywhere. This is wrong. So is it right here? Yes. So what am I doing wrong? I feel it's those... If this is a bend, this cell can't be anything. Is there? No, there's no third way of doing it. So this must be a straight. That is absolutely forced. This must be a bend. It must come out. If it bends this way. Ah, no, it could bend this way. Right, no, it doesn't orphan. If I do that, that doesn't necessarily orphan. Ah. So now I need to prove this without doing that long chain. But if this comes down, this has to be straight. If this comes down, this has to be straight. If this doesn't come down, the only thing that could fill it would be this, which means this has to be straight. So whichever way I do this, this has to be straight. Because I can't have this being a straight. Because if I did this, this would be a straight and those would be different. So that doesn't work. This has to be a straight. So that must be a straight. But now this is broken. The only way I can do... No, I can do this. Right, that's the logic here. This has to be a straight whichever way this gets filled. And now this can do that, which forces that, which forces that and that, and that and that. Right, now, if this was a straight, I'd have to put a straight in here. It can't be. So there's a, this cell is a bendy cell. And it can't bend around here. Because if I bend around here, this cell is broken. So it has to bend around here. And then I bend around here and make that straight. That is, oh man, these are so clever. Nobody watches BremSter. They're all 5s now. Although it's saying that there's a lot of hidden puzzles. It's like, well, what are these hidden puzzles? Whatever. Okay. Regions of size 3. Rats of unusual size. So I'm again working with only bendies and only straights. So in the center, in this bit here, I can't make it with only straights. There's the wrong count of cells. And I can't, I mean, I can do it with only bendies. Well, I can't do it with only bendies. Again, there's the wrong count of cells. So the middle has a combo. But these cells can't be part of bendies. So let's use yellow for straights. These cells must all be part of straights. Because I can't do a bendy off any of these cells. There's nowhere to do it. Like, I can't bend through these walls. There's nowhere to do it. I can't bend without going through walls. So this must be a bendy from here, but there's a straight coming off here. So this cell is part of a straight, and this cell is part of a bendy. So there is absolutely a wall in here. No, yes, there's absolutely a wall in here. And now the straight must go up. So this is a straight. So this cell must be bendy. Because if this bends this way, this can't bend this way. This would be isolated. So this must come into here. Now, the important thing to realize is I don't know that these are part of the same region. I know these had to be different because they are different parts, but they're both connected to a straight. So these had to be different. Now, which way does this go? If this went here, I could put a straight in here. And then a straight in here and a bendy in here. If this goes this way, I could put a bendy in here. I don't think I can do this, but it's a little bit, again, it's chaining. I couldn't make this a straight because I'd isolate those two cells. If I made that a bendy, I could do bendy and bendy. So maybe. Okay, so what's the logic from here? I'm not sure Fel would like this. I really don't know. I mean, this is part of the same. And if this completed, if this went to here, because this has to come out. If this was a straight, how could I complete this? I couldn't. If this was a straight, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells. It doesn't work. This is a bendy. So this is now a bendy, meaning it's that, which means that's a straight, 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 which means that's a bendy. And this is now 3 bendies, but no, it's not. We are now, no, that's a straight because it has to be different. That's the bendy and that's the straight. That is very clever. The fact that these cells in the middle had to be straight, allowing you to start down here. Very clever. So now you're putting 2 puzzles on the same board. Thank you. So this is one color. This is another color. There's 3 regions in each zone. I mean, this one seems easier. Although maybe not. I wonder. No, you couldn't do that. They all have to be the same, don't they? What color? Yeah, if these aren't all the same, how do I get a different color here without trapping in green? There's no way of doing it. So green has to take all of those. This is another color that can't be yellow. This has to be the red color, because if this is yellow, again, I'm trapping in green. And this now has to be the yellow color. But maybe I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I can bring red in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't. That's 11. Making you do 2 puzzles to get 1 credit is... If this isn't that setup, we're going to cut off, aren't we? And this has to be green and this has to be yellow. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. And I can't bring... But I can't connect these up. So maybe I can get green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That doesn't get me there. But I might be able to do it that way. That gets me 10. No, it doesn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah, no, that's it. And then yellow can do that. Okay, so how do I do that down here? I've got the same piece of logic. That must be blue. No, that's not blue. Those are red. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That doesn't work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That doesn't work either. I can't get blue that far. But if these don't connect up, I'm cutting off. But I can't get blue up that far. And without cutting off, I can't get green up that far. But surely the same logic prevails. Unless I can get blue up to... No, I can't... I can't get blue up to here and then have red be here or here because they'll cut each other off. So I need a way of disposing these colours Can I put blue here? And here? No, because I'll cut off red. What about getting blue down here? Like, can no, I'm going to cut off red. Maybe not. What about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What if I do that? And then I collect blue directly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I fill up. Wow! That was some tricky stuff. No one in my chat cares. And that, I think, was a 4. Now I've only got 5s left. There's 7 more hidden puzzles somewhere. Exactly 9. I have to admit, I'm kind of over these. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. There's 3 regions. There are 3 regions. There are 4 lights. Three regions. Hang on a minute. With gammas. 9 cell regions where I have to match the shape. Oh, get stuffed. How is this going to be logical? Because at least one of them has to run up here. Something like that. But how would I do this as a logical proof rather than just trial and error? How do I do this as a logical proof rather than just trial and error? Like, these are different colors. Can this be blue? It feels like it almost certainly has to be. Because could I get 3 regions of the same shape into this? I mean, is the expectation I can just look at this and go, oh, there's no 3 geometrical shapes that are identical that will fit into this? I don't know. If the expectation is that I can just look at this and go, there are no 3 shapes of the same, there are no 3 regions of exactly the same shape that'll fit into this grid, considering all of the weird geometric stuff they've done, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, these are 2 different. And hang on. No, they can't be 3 of the same shape. So this must be blue. Right. Because I've got different shapes, and this must be orange. Because I've got 2 regions that are different shapes. I'm playing with 3 regions. 2 of them are different shapes, and 2 of them are the same shapes. So I can't make 3 of the same shape. So this and this region are the same, and this region are the same. doesn't that mean yellow has to be blue? Because where is yellow going to get out? Or could I make orange blue? But if I made orange blue, then this would all hook up and yellow's trapped. So that doesn't work. So the only way yellow can get out is by coming through blue. And this is yellow. Right. Fine. Now, the question is, could orange be purple? And all I know is my gut tells me maybe. But purple has to get out and go that way. Unless purple is orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Purple could be orange. No, purple can't be orange. Because if orange and purple were the same, they'd have to be a different shape and the same shape. Purple comes out. In fact, purple has to come out a lot. I've got people jumping in and leaving all over the place. For a minute there, the stream jumped up to like 15 people, and now it's down to 4. No one likes watching me solve puzzles. So how does this orange connect up to this one? It has to connect around the top because I can't get in through the bottom. So those are all orange. And now if this yellow doesn't run around the back, I'm going to trap in purple. So this has to run around the back. Starting to get a grasp of this, but oh boy, do I not understand it fully. Yellow has to keep growing. Yellow has to be the same shape as purple. Well, how the heck is that going to work? Doesn't that mean purple has to come down to form the loop because there's nowhere else it can do it? No, I can't do that. Because if I made the loop there, then yellow would have to grow here and purple would have to grow into the same shape. That doesn't work. So I'm not sure where purple's getting its loop. But this is not the same as that. This cell is not this cell. Keith, it's not your fault. It's my fault for being bad at this. Now, if yellow, purple needs to get a loop. Ooh, you can undraw. That's cool. Purple needs to get a loop. Like that, maybe? But then purple would need to do something like that, but that doesn't work. How is purple going to get its loop? This is one end of purple, but it's not this end of purple, because then purple would need to... Oh, no. Could purple do that? And then yellow could grow to here. Purple could grow to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. I think that's forced. So what we end up with is yellow doing that and purple doing that and orange doing that. That was logical. It just, as always, takes BremSter way too long to see anything. So the logic was around the fact that the two Geminis meant I had two shapes that were the same, but the two out of three shapes, but the two deltas meant I couldn't have three shapes that were the same. So it forced these to be the same and these to be the same, and then how they connected. And then where could I put the loop in purple? God, this is clever. Hey, Kana. Oh, there's a hidden puzzle in here, which is another 5. Oh, my Lord, there's so many 5s. Gemini and Delta, all regions are exactly 5. I'm in the wrong mode. So that must come out and that must come out. But this must have the same shape as these. Hang on. So how can I do a 5 shape in here? These are 2 different colors. This is a shape that isn't yellow. Could I like do something like... This is just investigation and I hate doing investigation. But could I do something like that? Which would then allow me to do something like that and something like that. Because that feels like an easy way out of this problem. No, I can't. And maybe you can see what's going on. These cells here can't be part of the same region. Because this cell would then be broken. But we know that those 2 are part of the same region and those 2 are part of the same region. Every time I go, I can't see this, I look at it for a while and then I see it, which is a great puzzle. But I'm not seeing it. This is very restricted in here. In this area is very restricted. I love that they gave you this drawing tool, by the way. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But how do I make it work, considering these must be different? A and B. Can I figure out? And they must be different shapes. So this is shape B. This is shape B. This is shape B, this is shape B, and this is shape B. But this is shape A, and this is shape A. So there's a border in here. And this must come out, but there's a border in here because this is a different shape. And now A, which needs to be 5 cells long, must come into here. And it could pick up this cell, but it must come out at least 1 more, which means blue must grow. That's brilliant. B must grow. A can't come down. Yellow A must grow. But if it came down, I would need to go up here somewhere, and I can't do it. So yellow must go to here. And that's the shape of yellow, which means blue, which is the same shape, must be that. B must come out. Green comes out to 1 or both of those, but I don't know which. That was brilliant. But all of those are the same shape. I'm sorry, that opening, absolutely stunning. And it can't be the same shape as A. So it can't be the same shape as the blue or the gold. And this is a different color B to this one. But it could be green. If it wasn't green, green would have to come out like this. Blue would come out. If green went down, blue couldn't work. Green would then have to come out again, and that's broken because it's the same shape. So if this is different, green comes out, it has to come out again. It can't go down without breaking blue, and that means green comes out again and it's the same shape as A. So green must go into there. And now it can't bend here. Let's change that back to green. It can't bend here or it would be the same shape. So it either comes into here or it's straight. And it can't be fully straight because this can't have it. So that is green. Oh my Lord. So this must be a 4 long and it must come into one of these two. So it doesn't come out here. This must be a 4 long and it must come into one either here or one of those two. This is amazing. This is now a different B. Can I do cell counting here? If this went this way, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I couldn't fill it up. This must come this way. It can't be here or I'd have the wrong cell count. This can't go down. If this went down, these would be trapped. I could fill one of them. So this must go this way. But that doesn't work either. This is broken? Hang on, but my logic felt good. I liked my logic. This is wrong. Hang on, it says everything I've entered so far is correct. So how? How is this correct? That opening logic of A and B being different was beautiful. But this is now the same shape as this. So if I do this, these are orphaned. If I do this, I've got orphans in here. Can I do something like that? Ah. I can't do it here, but I can absolutely do it here. And that's the only way I can do it. Which means this comes down here. This now is blocked off. This is a 5-cell region, so that's locked. This is a 5-cell region. This is a 5-cell region. That is amazing. Now, how do I finish this off? It's got to be that gamma or delta or whatever you want to call it. Not Gemini, the delta, because this is a different color and it can't be an L piece. If this came to here, this would come out and couldn't be an L piece. And it would have to be, wouldn't it? Because if this came this way and went down, the only way to complete this without locking it off would be to do that. Oh no, that could then be that. What? Oh, no, I see what's going on. This must be the same shape. So that's a 4 going down. Right. Sorry, I missed the Gemini. And that's the only way to do that. That is a 4 with 1 going down. So there's nothing here. And it must be a 4 in this direction because I can't do the 4 in the other direction, which means this is coming out here, which means that's that shape. Oh, no. Stop. Undo. Let's just undo all of this crap because that's if it came out here. Let's ignore that. This must be the 4 because if I did the only other way I could do the 4 is here, which turns that into the wrong shape. And I can't make this like I did here because then I'd need to run into one of these other shapes. So that's the 4 and these are borders, which means this is now coming out. Let's change that to a better color. Which means this comes down here. This comes out. This is now a different color, which comes out. Yellow grows and yellow grows. And that's the... Wow. That is incredible. This would be an interesting thing about, I'm really going through a rough time at the moment with finding time to do anything. And even though I'm spending more money than I think I've ever made from the channel in the 5 years I've been doing this to go to Sudoku Con. Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm spending more money on the trip to the UK. I mean, I'm doing other stuff while I'm in the UK, but I think it's costing me more than I've ever made from the channel for the trip, if it goes ahead. Oh, there's a 4 there. It kind of has been really rough to make this happen, and it just feels like nothing is worth the effort right now. Hang on, I'm still in note mode. All regions must have an area of exactly 9. Kind of over these ones. What other types of puzzle is there to do? What was this? So this must come out. This must come out. This could continue, but this one must bend. This must come out, but could continue. This one must bend. If that bends, that becomes straight. If it bends, that can't bend this way, because if this bent, this would have to bend. So this must bend that way, making that straight, meaning this must be bendy, meaning this must be straight, meaning this must be bendy and that must be straight. Okay. I'm just over those other puzzles. And I know I'm leaving the hard ones till later. Maybe it means I should do some of the hard ones and leave some of the 2s and 1s until later. But let's try a 3. Neighboring regions must have different shapes, and I have to pick up one of each symbol. Okay, so that's not true at all. So I've only got 2 regions here. So what it's telling me is I can't do that. So what's the logical path here? What I need to do is figure out how to cross the boundary, I think. But that's going to be the same shape. So let's just start by doing... So that's... Yeah, shut up. I know that's wrong. I can't just... Good God. I can't just swap the blues over. Because that's not going to work. Because again, they're the same shape. You can see what I was doing. I just hadn't realized I joined it up. It's the extra gap here. So what I needed to do is I needed to swap it over so that I could pick up that space. So you swap over the blue and the green, and then you can pick up this space to break the symmetry, which you can't do here. So you start it with everything in the middle. So you start by splitting the puzzle in half. Then you figure out what you can swap over. And because the yellows are in the different position, that's the clue to allow you to break the symmetry with that space versus that space. Ones and threes. So hang on a minute. So anywhere I put a 1, I can only put a 3 next to it. So I could never put a 3 like this, because that would make... Oh no, that could... Yeah, because then this is broken. So I've got to be really careful about that. Now, if I put a 3 like this, I'm broken as well. Because I could put a 1 here and a 1 here, but this cell has no fill. Whoa! So this has to be a 1, this has to be a 1, so that could be a 3. Because any other way I do it, like, if I make this a 1, I could put a 3 here, but now I can't fill these cells because I'm putting 2 1s next to each other or a 3 next to it. So I've got to be really careful about how this fills. So this comes out like this, so I can put 2 1s and a 1. This now has to... No, now I'm broken again. But I could put a 3 here and 2 1s and a 3. I'm playing diagonal here. 2 1s and a 3 and a 1. And a 3 and 2 1s. And a 3 and a 1 and a 3. So you've got to be really careful about how the 3s can only touch each other at points. And I think I explained that one okay. I could kind of see what was going on. I hope I explained that one well enough that people could follow it. I mean, I barely understood it well enough that I followed it. Here's a 1. Let's do a 1. I like this mingle shape one. So the 2 can't go that way because it would touch another 2. So that's the 2. Now, this can't touch this because I can't put them on the same shape. So it has to do that, and then that has to do that. That's a 2, and the rest are all 1s. That's a lock-in. And the trick here was these couldn't touch each other and this couldn't go this way because it couldn't touch the two. That one, okay, that was a 1. Yeah, that makes sense. Here's another 1. So I can't do a big L out of here. This has to be a small L because these have to grow and that just locks that in. Now this has to be that because it has to come out and it's the only way that shape can work. Now everything touching this has to be an elbow. Including, no, hang on, now I'm broken. Ah, this is a problem. Okay, let's restart this. I can't do anything but an elbow here. Which means this must be a long L. But once it comes out, that's the only way it can turn. But now everything touched this has to be an elbow. Right, so that's an elbow. That's an elbow. That's an elbow. So that is not touching. Now no, I'm broken here. No, I'm not. I can do that, so it's only touching at a point, and then that's an elbow. That's an elbow. That's long, and that's an elbow. No, where have I touched? I've touched up here. Damn. That is the long, and that's the short. I got it flipped wrong. This is incredibly crazy. The hard ones on this are going to be diabolical. Uh-huh. How does this only have one solution? They stated at the start of the game that every puzzle would only have one solution. When I come up with the solution, why wouldn't it work rotated 90 degrees, 180 degrees, or 270 degrees? Why does this puzzle, how does this puzzle have a unique solution? So to me, I mean, I can kind of see it because what you do is that, and it doesn't matter how you rotate that. But so to solve that puzzle, you use uniqueness. I solved that puzzle using the fact that they said it had to be unique. Dodgy? Probably. So these must be part of the same region. These must be part of the same region and can't connect because there's no 4 apart. These are part of the same region and can't connect because I don't think, yeah, there's no diagonal 3x3. So this is a different region and this is a different region again. So these are all different regions. Okay, how do I fit them in? 2, 2, I can't do, so does this have to be that? Is there any other way of fitting that in? I can't do an offset 2 at the top. To do an offset 2 here, it's here or here. And if it was here, I'd need to go down to here. So it has to be an offset 2 into those and then down. That feels forced. The offset 2 here now has to go into those 2 and to there. The offset 2 here can go here. Can it go this way? Yes, it could. Or it could go this way. Oh, but hang on, neighboring regions must have different shapes. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. That's a problem. That's a real problem. Because where does this go? can't go up. I can't share with any of these. It's that. Is that the shape? That's the shape, isn't it? And then this could be that. And then this could be that. And then this could be that. No, it can't. There have been several Sudoku that are explicitly solved by using uniqueness, I think. Now, this can't go this way. It has to go this way, and it can't go up. So this has to be that now. Was this the only solution for this? Yeah, it couldn't go this way. This now has to go up. So it has to do that, and it can't take this cell, so it must take this one. But how does this solve now? It can't. So where have I got? This feels forced. So what have I got wrong down here? I could do that maybe? But that doesn't change the direction this goes. Yes, it does. I could do... I could do that. No, I can't. And that? But again, that doesn't change the direction this goes. I have to take one of those two cells, and I can't take that one. It must go to there. And this must take one of those two, and I can't take that one, so it must take that one. Have I got this wrong? I mean, I am having trouble visualizing this shape. Where can I put the 3? I can't put the 3 in here. I can't put the 3 in here. The only place I could put the 3 is in there. So this must be the 3. Which means that is where it grows to. Now down here, where can I put the 3? Actually, there's a couple of options. So is it this one now? Where can I put the 3? I really am having trouble visualizing this shape. So 2 here, and 1 here would put the 3 there, but trap this in. I can't come into here, I can't come into here, I can't come into here, I can't come into here. So the 3 being here would mean I'd need that cell. And I don't have it. So the 3 can't be here. So the 3 must be here, and I take that cell. So yeah, I think that is forced. And then the 3 here allows me to take that cell. But what do I do here? The 3 would be those with that, and then that and that. They're all the right shape, aren't they? And they're not touching. Oof. I'm in the wrong mode again. This must come out and therefore must turn. This must end. Because if I turn into this region, I'm broken. Hang on. This must end. Because if I turn... Well, hang on. No. It doesn't have to end. But it can't be an elbow. Because if this was an elbow, then it would be touching elbows. Now, it could like do something like that. But now this elbow must come out and turn. No, that's not true. It could be that. That could be fine. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be that, because once this comes out, that has to be a single piece. Now, this is blocked off, because if this came into here, if this went up, that would touch, it'd be elbow touching elbow. Now, the problem I have here, so it's causing me to restart, is this doesn't need to come out. But I think these still need to connect. If this went up and didn't connect, it'd be elbow touching elbow. If this went this way and didn't go up, it'd be elbow touching elbow. So these are the same region, but I don't know which region they are. This can't go down because it'd be elbow touching elbow. This does this, and that's locked in. This is now locked in. Oh my Lord, how long is this stream? This is 3.5 hours? These are part of the same region. I've got to make sure these don't touch each other. Now, they could be part of the same, but this can't come this way. So this one can't come this way, or it'd touch that. So that's not permitted. This can't come down, and it can't go that way without turning down. They can only touch at points. So this one can't come this way. And it must be an elbow. So that's the elbow. And now this can't go that way or that way. And it is an elbow. So this... And it must... Yeah, we knew that. Okay, so that's all locked in. That's going to connect either that way or that way. This can't come this way, or it'll be touching. This can't come this way, or it'll be touching. This can't go up, or it'll be touching. This can't go left, or it'll be touching. That is a single cell. Okay. I kind of just want to draw that in and that in. Like if I draw that in, and if I draw that in, and that in, and that in, and that in, I'm done. And it looks like a valid solution. But is that a logical proof? Like, if I draw in that, let's get rid of the notes. If I draw in that, clear the notes, and that, and that, and that, there I've got them all and they're not touching. But is that a logical proof or just finding a way that it works? It's just finding a way that it works. How much of this game have I still got? No idea. Lots. I think I've only literally in 3.5 hours, I've done some of this, and some of this. Like, I haven't even looked at any of this, and I've still got all of this area in the fog to explore. Like, you can still see there's heaps of areas over there and kind of over there. I'm not a fan of the fog, so that you don't know how much there is coming. Let's finish off with the 3. This must come out. We've only got straight lines to play with. So this is a 2. So this must be a 3. So this must be a 2. So this is part of a 3. But this is part of a 3. So this is part of a 2. So this is part of a 3 going that way or that way. They both seem to work because I could do a 3 here and a 3 here and I'm good. No, I can't. Wait. Ooh, bloomin' borders. I keep... So if I did a 3 going up, no, I could do that. I could do a 3, a 2, and a 3, and a 2. If I did a 3 going across, I'd have to do a 3 going up, and that doesn't work. I can't do a 3 going across. This has to be a 3 going up. Then this has to be a 2. Then this has to be a 3. And this has to be a 2. That works. Now, this has to be a 3 going across, but it can't touch this cell. So that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 3, and that's... That was nice. These are so elegantly designed. I could, but where's the fun in that? I mean, for some of the harder puzzles, you absolutely need to do that. But for a 2 or 3 difficulty puzzle, I would hope I don't need to do that. And I've got a whole new rule set here and probably a whole new rule set here to explore as well. But I've still got all of these to do. And I really love the terrain, by the way. The farm and everything. What I'm not a fan of is the hidden puzzles. Like a hidden puzzle like this is okay. But with the stuff that they did over here, particularly with things like that little 5 puzzle that was hidden there, that is... That's just... Blech. I think the 7 that was up here. Yes, I did that one. This was insane. It was probably an hour and a half into the stream. If you look for that one, Kana, it was definitely there. Maybe if I get motivated, I would try and look for timestamps for the 6s and 7s and put them in as chapter marks. Or if someone wanted to find those timestamps for me and send them to me, I could put them in as chapter marks. Honestly, I've got almost no bandwidth. I'm on, as I said, I'm basically playing relaxing games at the moment because I'm under like medical advice to kind of slow down. And that may mean that I may have to like take a break from Sudoku and pause the channel for a bit. I don't know. We'll have to see how everything goes. Thank you everyone for jumping in. This has been amazing. One of the things I will be doing is I'm going to be paying them an administrative assistant to come in and do some work on the channel for me, clean up some of the playlists, add a thing to the description of all of the videos. There's over 2,500 videos on the channel, so it's a lot of work to do that. All of the puzzles are owned by the creators of the the creator of the puzzle, not by me. A lot of the videos from recently have had that, but I'm going to get them to add it to everything, and that the puzzles are not to be used for commercial purposes without the permission of the puzzle creator, including AI and stuff like that, because the puzzle creators own those rights. So I want that added to every video, even the old ones. So because I want that added, and I know they're just going to ignore it, but because I want to respect the puzzle creators, I've decided to spend what is probably going to end up being a few $100s paying for someone to come in and put it in there so that the puzzle creators know I'm respecting their creations. I'm also going to do some cleanup, or get them to do some cleanup of playlists. So recently I've been breaking the playlists into 3 months brackets of all the solve videos, because if you have a playlist that's too large, like over 100, it becomes unwieldy. And some of the early ones, it's just a playlist, and one of them is like 600 videos long, and you could never find anything in it. So I want them broken down so you can go to the playlist section and say, I want to look at the solves from the first quarter or January to March of 2024. I think that's about when that existed. And you'd be able to find those videos very easily. But in order to do that, all of that work needs to be done. Also, some of the old puzzle links are broken because Sudoku Maker and TinyURL and FPuzzles and everything have gone through significant updates. Well, the puzzle creator is the person who has the ability to say that. That's the way it is. If the puzzle creator says that their puzzle can be used, I'm saying my video can't be used, but if they want to contact the puzzle creator about using their puzzle, they need to contact the puzzle creator. That's what it's about. The video can't be used, but the puzzle may be if they contact the puzzle creator. Because I posted a video, it doesn't mean the puzzle creator has permission. But yeah, the other thing is a lot of those old puzzle links are broken or don't work, or go to versions of the puzzle or to software that isn't loading correctly. I want to have those identified so we can then use the video to correct them and make new versions of the puzzles if we have to, and then make sure that when people go to those old puzzles, they still have working links available. And even when the links do work, update them to Sudoku Pad short URLs so that they load faster and it's a better experience, and they'll load on phones without having to go through ad blocked URLs and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm wanting to go through and make sure that I'm doing this quality uplift, including on a lot of the old content. Unfortunately, to do that means I need someone to do it, and that's going to cost money. So I'm dumping probably a month or so's worth of revenue from the channel into getting that done to support creators and support solvers. What do I get out of this? Absolutely nothing. But my channel is for the community, not for me to generate profit. So I won't be generating profit for a bit, but I think it's an important thing to try and do. Now, I've got someone who's said they're willing to do it. I need to talk to them about the scope of the work and everything, and about time frames. I don't know how long it's going to take them. We will see. And of course, their priority is looking for a new job. So, and I don't want them to burn out doing it. So how long it's going to take, how long is a piece of string? We're talking about like 2,500 videos here. So it could be a huge project for them. And I want them to be paid fairly. And if it starts getting to the point where the risk isn't worth the effort, we need to prioritize and figure out where that effort has to go and everything. The channel is huge. So hopefully this will be something. I don't think most people will ever notice it, but I will feel better it having been done. Abandoning old stuff and abandoning creators and all of that is not something I want to do. The fact that I'm doing this means that I need to continue to support it, and that costs money. I can't just take the money and run. That feels unethical to me. So, thank you, Kana. So yeah, it's, as I said, we don't know yet. We're sitting down tomorrow to go through the initial planning for it. And then we need to figure out how much it's going to cost. My expectation is a lot. We'll see how it all goes. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the Artisan of Glimmith, what I've done so far. I expect to be overtaken by Mark and Simon pretty quickly, although I'm hoping to play a little bit more of this over the weekend if I can, because I'm really enjoying it and I'm finding it chill, even when I don't know what I'm doing, because these are not my sort of puzzles. I'm really enjoying learning it. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a good time, and I hope everything is going well for you, particularly with the way everything is going in the world. For those of you who are in the UK, particularly in the London or Manchester area, I hope to see you in or around London or SudokuCon if the world doesn't fall apart. And as always, for everyone, from the bottom of my heart, good luck with your solving. Bye, everyone. It's been wonderful to have you here.